Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So, allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening. Sure, it was some sort of event. Fine, whatever. We're gonna go through that event. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna give our thoughts and opinions on what might come, and of course, provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. Grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. We are brought to you by AniMa W3 Studios, and this is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, what a fun Monday night we had. What a fun Monday just in general, you know? Like, I'm sure a lot of people know about Garfield and all that, how he hates Mondays. Well, the feeling's mutual, Garfield, because, oh my God, this Monday sucked. And I'm not just talking about work either. This Monday Night Raw was bad. It was bad. We're not going to sugarcoat it here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be truthful. We're going to be honest. That's just how we are on this podcast. And I'm gonna throw out a disclaimer here. Um, Apologies if anyone gets offended because yeah, it's gonna be that kind of a night. But as always, I'm your world champion Watkins here, kind of in my heel persona tonight because it's needed. It's needed. It's the energy needs to be there. But I'm never alone in my endeavor. I've got two lovely gentlemen here who's gonna maybe we can help each other kind of process this. Maybe we can kind of cope with all this stuff. But of course, on my right, we have the visionary legend D Vash. Vash, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fucking great. We are here about a rant about Monday Night Raw, and this boy here, Legendary Vash. Woo woo woo. Our boy Matt Cardona, big shout out to him. I don't know why I'm in the hype mood right now because we're about to rant about the show, and I'm just excited because not saying I didn't have a good time. I had a good time doing my sidecast with Watkins and watching Monday Night Raw critique it, talking about the bad and the ugly, because there was little good in a 2 hour and a 40-minute show when you could end at whatever time, and Netflix wants to just cut it off when Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston attacks Rey, when it's like, what the fuck's the point? You used to do this back on TV specials, I mean back in TV regular time, but now when you could be done at any time, you're gonna still end it? The fuck?
Yeah, the fluke indeed. And of course, we've got the genius of the mat himself. Drop this box. Drop. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'll just say that.
Yep. Yeah.
More
So
questions than answers, I will say. I mean,
Yes, agreed.
I'll come out and say it. There was things I did enjoy about the show when it comes to certain
yeah.
matches, of course. So I don't want it to come off in a way where it's going to be a complete rant, but I feel like for the most part, there's definitely a lot of question about a lot of
and I think
decisions.
I think that's my big thing with it. It's just like, the matches we got tonight were fine, and ladies and gentlemen, I think the team, before we got on, we kind of talked about it. We're not really going to be sticking to our normal structure with this show because there's a lot to go on with just everything that happened with Raw. But I at least want to point out, the matches we got were fine. We had Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio in the main event. It was a good match. Logan Paul busting out a new finisher, which looks cool.
The pole driver.
The name, the pulverizer, which, the name, some people may like it, some people may not, to each their own with that. But whatever. The match itself was fine. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. That was a fine match. A bit sloppy at times, but it's fine. The women's tag team match was also really good. Probably match of the night for me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
and of
same.
course, we had the world tag team title match, which was fine until the finish. But yeah, that's where we get to it. It's just like the matches were fine. It's everything else surrounding it. Because
I was just gonna add, if you don't mind, is that when it comes to Raw, I asked this to Watkins a couple of hours ago during outside cast. Like, hey Watkins, you're enjoying Raw now, like 6-8 weeks in, you're enjoying the 3-hour show, the 2.5 compared to SmackDown. We had a quick small discussion on our sidecast, and then it's funny how after Raw ends, like, yeah, this is the worst Raw on Netflix episode comparing the last 8 weeks since we had it or less. So it's just so disappointing that we had a good discussion of what could be, and then after the show ends, like, yeah, we should backtrack that up and be like, this was the worst Raw episode on Netflix so far.
So okay, just the whole theme of tonight is, what are we doing? What are we doing for this build to WrestleMania? Like, first of all, you have your women's IC title. I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna start with that.
Yeah, just
Let's
do
go.
that.
I'm starting with this women's IC title bullshit. You have Lyra Valkyria win your women's IC title. Great. Awesome choice. She's great in the ring. She's good on the mic. She's somebody that can elevate that title, and really, you can build a good mid-card division around her. You don't have her on your TV for a month. Maybe some backstage segments, sure, but you don't have her even compete or even do anything in the ring to even celebrate her win for a whole flipping month. Her first time back in the ring with the title is during the Royal Rumble, which she's obviously not winning, because her booking right now, she's not going to be winning the Royal Rumble. So her first singles match after winning the title is to qualify, mind you, qualify for a #1 contendership match for a title, for a world title. Your IC champion. Your freshly crowned IC champion. Okay. So is she gonna win? No, she loses. Not only loses, but loses clean. What the fuck are we doing? What the hell are we doing with your damn women's mid-card? I know I kind of went on a semi-rant on Friday about it, but it's just the same thing. Just, why are you gonna do this? Like, why are you gonna make your championship, build up your division? Why are you gonna do that, but then just have her lose? Barely have her featured at all, and just have her lose her first match back. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't compute. And again, like, they had a good match. Her and Bayley had a good match.
Agree.
But like, this was a lose-lose situation going in, because it's like Lyra loses, and you basically, I don't want to say, oh, you buried the title and all that, you buried the division, but like, there are going to be people saying that, and I mean, you know what? I'm not going to stop them from saying that. Go ahead and say that. But I mean, I'm not going to say that, but that's besides the point. But then, like, you have Lyra win, and then you go more weeks without her doing anything for the IC title, for that mid-card decision. Just, I don't, you could put anyone else in this. You could have put freaking Ivy Nile in this position. You could have put Shayna Baszler in this position, Zoe Stark in this position. What the hell are they doing in, like, at all? Nothing. Hell, Shayna Baszler even had a tweet earlier. It was just like, oh, so Damage Control gets injured and they get another shot at something, you know? Like, your number one contenders for the tag team titles lost tonight, fun fact. There's another thing. Like, they're supposed to be going for the tag team titles, and you're having them lose on Monday Night Raw. Yeah. Great match. Yeah, great, cool, neat, awesome. What in the AEW are we doing? Like, all right, I'm tagging in. Who wants to hit this?
I'll go in. So I'm just going to expand on the Bayley versus Lyra match because I have a lot of questions with this. I had a lot of issues with this heading in. So I'm going to come out and say this. I'm not against Lyra and Bayley happening because it was a match that was going to happen eventually because that's pretty much a veteran paying their respects to the newcomers. And Lyra, and Bayley's also somebody that Lyra looked up to, just like Becky and all of them, to push her to get into wrestling. So I have no issues with the matchup. If it was like a regular match, everything along the lines of that, it just kind of makes the whole situation with the IC title a little bit weird because it's like you're fighting for this title to mean something because we're not lying when we say this. Ever since we started this podcast, we've been very, very vocal on giving opportunities to the ladies when it comes to mid-card because not everybody can be in the main event scene, and titles like this could help propel them to the main event scene if they get treated properly. So when I look at this, the way that the whole bracket setup, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to these qualifying matches, I see Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. But Lyra is the IC title, she's the Intercontinental Champion, and you're putting her in a match which is a lose-lose situation where it's like, okay, you have her supposed to be representing her brand, but then you have her lose the match without putting her into any title defenses yet, without giving her any time, like Watkins said. So straight off the bat, you're not really giving her a good image when it comes to her overall representation of that title. What you could have easily done with this, and I'm going to play Booker for a lot of these decisions tonight, because it seems like I have a good eye when it comes to a lot of these things being structured compared to what we've been getting lately. And that's not me trying to stroke an ego, but there was an easy story you could have easily put in here. You had that whole thing play out between Lyra and Ivy Nile in the Royal Rumble. They've been butting heads for a little bit. You had Ivy eliminate Lyra from the Royal Rumble. You could have had Bayley versus Ivy Nile tonight. You could have had Lyra get her payback on Ivy Nile. You know, Bayley and Ivy put on a good match between one another, whatever. But you could have had Lyra get her revenge because Ivy keeps poking her head at her. Keep trying to catch her off guard. Keep trying to antagonize her. You could have had Ivy lose that match tonight, and then you could start going into that feud, Lyra's first feud, with Lyra versus Ivy Nile for that title. You could have easily played it off of that. That way, you keep Lyra looking strong, and you could build more into that feud so it finally takes off, which I'm kind of surprised it hasn't yet. But you could have easily done that, and you could have avoided all of that. And I already mentioned when we did the show on Friday, and I'm probably going to say the exact same thing on Friday, because I know what's going to happen with the whole Chelsea Green situation. We'll visit that on Friday, and I'll acknowledge this based on what I said on Monday. You could have easily done something like this. That's why I'm not a big issue with this. And another reason is, You have her with a title already, so it's like you have her in a match, gutting for Rhea's title, because it's not a match for Tiffany. So we know Charlotte and Tiffany's going to be a thing. We don't need to play like, oh, who's Charlotte going to choose? We know it's going to be Tiffany. She's sitting on SmackDown to watch her and Nia go back and forth. It's Tiffany. So it's like you have her with a title fighting for another title. So already off the bat, that's kind of taking away the value of the title that she has already. I understand the whole star power thing, but that can only push so much. And like Watkins alluded to, you got Shayna, you got Zoe, could have thrown them in there. I'll definitely dive into that a little bit later once we talk about this whole Iyo situation. But I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of like the overall direction, especially when it comes to the woman recently on this whole qualifier thing. At least when it comes to these like mid-card champions. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Yeah.
So
No.
I hated it.
And,
I'm
like,
gonna
that's
just
the
be
thing.
honest.
It's
I
like-
hated it.
It's like the match was fine. Like I was actually kind of engrossed in like the beginning of it because it was like there was a lot of mat wrestling
Yeah.
in it. There was like a lot of like kind of back and forth, but also like I don't know.
Yeah.
I was really intrigued with it. It kind of reminded me of like actually like looking at Greco-Roman amateur wrestling, like whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like it reminded me of that stuff. Like there was
Yeah.
actually like some shooting going on. There was some headlocks, like legit takedowns and all that. Like it was pretty damn good. At least from like a mat standpoint. It's just again, you're
Yeah.
in this lose-lose situation. It's like why? Just why? This could have gone to anybody else. Like I thought the point of these mid-card titles was supposed to get more opportunities for the female superstars.
yeah.
I thought that's what the whole deal was with this. But no, we're just gonna keep doing the same bullshit. Keep doing the same bullshit.
It also
Look,
Sorry, Vash. I was cutting you off. But
No, it's fine. Like when it comes to this conversation, not too stressed by being cut off because we're all passionate and ranting about it. Because myself, you guys know me from Weebs of the Ring, and if you guys haven't, I'm usually known as Positive Ash. And in this episode, you guys will not be getting that because when Roxanne was in the sideline of this match of Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria, me and Watkins assumed that hey, they're gonna lead each other to the announce table, and Roxanne will probably get involved. Guess what? That didn't fucking happen. Once that pin dropped, Bayley winning, well-deserved match. Like Drop said, good match. If there's no title on Lyra, and it was just them two going at it, beautiful match. But with the things attached to it, it just makes this match fall flat. Why do you have the mid-card fucking title winner that hasn't even had a match yet, not even represent, not even had a feud, not even had a promo since she's been in the ring? All the time that we have seen Lyra in the past couple of weeks is her in the audience or backstage. Same thing with Braun Breaker. This man has been in the audience or backstage. Can we get this man on the ring? We haven't had no feud, but we're going to get on that later. When it comes to Lyra, it's like we had opportunities. Like Drop and Walk and say, we have Ivy now. We have many chances. Even before some of these people that we'll be talking about on Thursday that got released, they could have also been used as a feud before they left. Things could have been at least escalated. A little 2 matches feud. Something would have been nice. But no. We're going to have Lyra, who's already a mid-card title champion, entering a fucking Elimination Chamber roulette of who goes to the fucking WrestleMania of the golden ticket. What's that for? Why don't we have a build-up? Like Drop said, we have a build-up of Lyra versus Ivy now. They have one match. They, probably Ivy now cheated. Lyra still won. They won a second rematch. We could build it up to Elimination Chamber. We have Lyra could defend her title as a mid-card champion on a PLE. That would be nice to show the title because the other titles might not be, represented or shown. So at least we have a mid-card title champion to be there. That would have been nice. But no, what's the point to also have a pin? Bayley, yes, she's great. The 4 Horsemen. She's a leading. She's a veteran. But to have her win over a title winner, over a pin to go to the Elimination Chamber, it doesn't make sense. I'd rather have not Sonya Deville. It was Shayna Baszler. I would have rather have her against Bayley, her take the pin, and we have Bayley go over. And Roxanne didn't get involved. She was just there for the representation, just there for the promo. Great. but it fell flat. What's the point to show her stand up and scream at Bayley across or something? It didn't build up to nothing, and that's disappointing.
It's just to promote fucking Vengeance Day
That too,
or
to
whatever
promote
the hell. Like that's
to
all.
promote
That's all.
Vengeance Day, and
That's all it was. Like that's all
it's
it
not
was.
fun.
It was just to have. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was just there to just be there. You know, kind of like Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. Like the match was fine, cool, neat. Logan Paul's a new finisher. Awesome. He
But
has new music too, which sucks.
oh my gosh, just
CM Punk.
horribly trash. But I really want to say, it sucks when our show, Weebs of the Ring, we've been vouching, representing, pushing for a mid-card title since early July of last year.
Yeah.
We've been pushing it like, hey, you could do this, the booking. Not that we got it. It's like, we don't want it to be representative of how AEW has like 25 titles and they don't even represent the world titles correctly. So they're having their flaws. And we have these titles to represent the mid card, where it's falling flat from the IC. We went from Gunther to now Braun Breaker only being a background segment. And we have Lyra Valkyria who has her first match and gets pinned. Where does it make sense in the booking aspect? Triple H speaks about long term, but I wonder where's the mistakes. Is it coming from him or is it coming from the people around him? Because for Triple H to be making this type of booking mistakes, it just it makes it more questionable than actually like, what the fuck are you doing?
So I'm gonna come out and say this. One thing I'm gonna have to give AEW credit for here. They got one mid-card belt for the ladies.
Yep. Oh my god! Oh my god! Drop. Remember that? Fucking. No. That's besides the point. I am right. I am right.
We can bring back
Fuck all of you. I am right.
We can bring back the meter.
Fucking meter right there. I know. Sydney.
Actually,
meter right there.
For now on, we should get like some sort of like a chalkboard or something.
Yeah, I'm having things with her. But I do want to read a tweet real quick that says Bayley and Lyra Valkyria tried to have a technical match built around respect. They had some good ideas, but there were too many miscues and slow motion spots to match this match remotely. They were not in sync, and I would rather not see Lyra on a losing streak right now. And I agree. Yeah, like this tweet hit it on the nose of how I was telling Watkins during the sidecast that there's a few times I heard them like trying to mumble, some of the spots, and I'm like, I don't like that because it takes it too obvious. Like, yes, I'm a fan, I'm a critic, I'm a longtime fan. I start to notice things now. It's bound to happen, but when it's too obvious and on the nose, it really takes you out of it. And Lyra Raquel should have never lost. That's 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish she wasn't in it. Like the thing I said earlier, Ivy could have been an easy person to put in there. Could have built around the story between her and Lyra to start off their feud. Lyra gets her revenge in the Rumble. Easy. Another thing I do want to add on to what you said with that tweet is I also feel like there's a part of me, and this could just be a personal thing with Lyra, but it also seems like there was a part of her, regardless how they scripted the match or not, that she was probably trying to prove herself to Bayley within that match, considering how she looked up to her. Because I did notice like how she was doing stuff that she normally doesn't do. Like Lyra is like a technical wrestler. That kind of makes sense. Look who she's inspired by, Becky Lynch. So it's like, part of me was looking at that. I was like, she's really trying to prove herself. This is one of her heroes, stuff like that. I get that whole thing. That's completely fine. If it was like a regular match, like I said, no issues at all. Even if Bayley won, like we brought up before, even if you lose a match and it's a non-title match, whatever, you still look good on the wrong one. If you're competing with that person, you look good. And because look at we've seen it with like numerous people before. It helps enhance them, helps them stand out. Pretty sure it did a little bit for her. But again, with like the IC champion, new thing for the lady. It's not like it's been something going on for 5 to 6 years, but it's like neither of them are pushing the envelope right now. I mean, Chelsea's doing a little bit better, but still, come on.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like Chelsea's thing is completely different from Lyra's. You know, we said that before. You know, when they both won it, and when they were both going for it, it's like okay,
Yeah.
Chelsea's going to be more of the character work with it, more of like kind of the comedic aspect of it, which you know
Yeah.
I can appreciate and
Yeah, it
all that.
works.
That's why I do appreciate Chelsea and her work. You know, but then like you have the Lyra Valkyria, and that's the one that's like okay. This is the work rate one. This is because that's what the IC title has always been. It's always been like the work rate title. It's always been like that next step to the world championship. And like the way it's been treated, the way it's even being treated now, just on the men's side too, is horse crap. Like it is complete and utter dog crap. You know, like you had Braun Breaker defend against Sheamus 2 weeks ago at Saturday Night's Main Event, and before then he was barely on the shows, barely doing any builds. Like that match with Sheamus was thrown together the week before, and it was only just to get them on the card, just to add another match for Saturday Night's Main Event. Like that's not anything.
And then he complains the week prior to Adam Pearce that, hey, I'm not being on the show. What you doing with me? But then this week, we have him with AJ Styles just on a stay off for a good 20 seconds. And that's it. And I'm like, that's it? You're not going to speak anymore? You complained about it last week, but then this week you'll be like, hey, I'm here. Just staring at you. Move on. Like, really? The fuck was that for?
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. I'm done with that rant.
Yeah,
I don't have much to say about Mysterio versus Logan Paul other than I like Logan's new finisher. I think it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the name, I know, you know, the Paul Verizer.
Yeah,
Don't you like the puns?
Yeah. Like
uh
I here's the thing. Like I saw something come out earlier where it says this was going to be the main event, and I'm like, okay, but there has to be some kind of angle that makes sense for it to be a main event. The thing that we got.
Oh, that was cut off.
Yeah, it's like
I was gonna say that it got cut off because why?
Like,
we're not on TV no more, but we're still gonna get cut off.
It's like that thing with New Day coming out after then at the end and getting cut off. I mean, that doesn't seem like that big of an angle that you really need to have that match between Logan and Rey Mysterio. Man, you could have easily done something else like beyond that. Like I honestly would have rather had Punk come off to end off the show or something along the lines of that. End it off with a promo.
Mm-hmm.
Punk's a great mic worker. The Citizen, I'm not sure if you're trolling in chat just for engagement, trying to get a reaction out of us. But
yeah, you did not. No.
I don't buy into. I don't buy into any of that bullshit that people say on X or anything. If that's just engagement to get a reaction, I mean, come on. This isn't the kind of shit we talk about on here. Just being straight up with you. But
though I will say this drop. The one thing I would say about this main event, the one thing I like is how it transitioned from Punk to Rey and Logan Paul, and how we heard Logan Paul music, and even Punk was reaction like I didn't even know who it was. It shit was trash, and it was the music was I believe me and Walkers were saying like, oh, this is Logan Paul. We knew the first beat, but then once we heard the rest of it, he got different. And just with all due respect, I don't want to fire anybody in their job. But if you're bad at it, and many people don't like you at your job, then you gotta quit. Them. You gotta leave Fuck the them. Company because you're not doing a good execution. Logan Paul may not be a fan of him as a person, but he's a good wrestler. And Def Rebel, you do a horrible job. That's one thing.
Oh my god.
Two, Punk. What's up?
No, that's another thing too. It's like we'll talk about it on Grappling with the Week on Thursday, but just to give a little snippet of it, that's like another thing too. It's like presentation is everything, like we spoke about last week, and having the whole random theme song thing, like the first time I heard that they don't even meet with the people to figure out exactly how they want to lay out anything. That clicked with me right away, where I'm like, why are these people still here? And I saw a report come out months ago that they're supposed to be gone. I'm not sure when that's happening.
If that's still active, yeah.
But it's like, yeah, but it's like they're like, oh, we see everything online. if you see everything online, you should know not to have that kind of shit.
And what's crazy is that on Royal Rumble, he had his regular song, and then a week later, you change it. What for? What punishment did Logan Paul did for him to actually get downgraded? Because it makes logically no sense. Because then we have Punk and Logan Paul as a nice segment. It was cool, but the one thing that got me intrigued for Rey Mysterio to win is because of Watkins' comment of how there's a tweet or a meme of how. Is CM Punk gonna be versing his 5 exes, his 5 evil exes? Which I would love to have seen that as a meme, as a joke, would have been nice. We have John Cena, we have the Seth Rollins, we have the Drew McIntyre, we have maybe Damian Priest. I don't know if they have any feud before, but that's a new ex.
They hadn't, but yeah, that's the one that just kind of throws a wrench in that.
Yeah.
So we have 5 possibility of exits that I feel like would have been nice. But then we get Logan Paul. I get it. Star power, the millions of views that he could get out, stardom, and people don't like him. So a lot of traction for that. Cool. But I would have rather have seen Rey. Rey was amazing in this match. He did some really cool stuff. That you like. It shows the stem cells are working. This man still does what he does.
For sure, yeah.
So like he did a good type of main event. Other than that, just Logan Paul, I get it, to the Triple H, to the bookers and the investors, that Logan Paul brings views, but he needs to understand that if you want to attract the people that are currently watching, not just the younger audience, but the people that are myself, Drop, Watkins, and the older, we don't attract to Logan Paul as much as the younger people than us. So like when you have him as a main event, it falls flat. And that's what it felt like to me. And also, I'm also cutting off early.
I'm just gonna be very blunt and very honest. As somebody who has studied music, as somebody who has been in a band, as somebody who has listened to a lot of shit garage punk pop punk bands, Def Rebel needs to be fired, rip up their contract, kick them to the curb, and then every single member of Def Rebel never touch a piece of music ever again in your life. I'm moving.
How about their good stuff? Can they still do their good stuff?
No.
This is the
Fuck
funny
their good stuff.
Yeah, this is the funny thing about them. And I feel like they should give equal opportunity to everybody, if I'm being completely honest. There's no favoritism. But there obviously is favoritism with them. Because if it's the Samoans, everything's on point. If it's the Joshies, everything's on the point. If it's those certain main eventers they really want to push, everything's on point. Everything else, fuck that. That's why I don't like it. But I mean, fucking AJ Styles is like, fuck that song. I want my CFO money came back.
Well, fucking Randy Orton months ago. I know
that.
we're on the Def Rebel thing.
Fine.
Randy Orton months ago.
That's
apparently
funny.
his music was gonna get the Def Rebel thing, and he's just like, no,
as it should.
I'm Randy Orton. Fuck that.
Dude, I can only imagine how that fucking song starts off, where he's like, hey.
I hear voices in my head.
Voices in my head.
That's really degrading one of the greatest in the business. You fucking put, I hear voices in my head.
Bro will come over there to the office like, oh, you guys never met us wrestlers? Guess what? You're about to meet one today. RKO in their office.
You get Triple H some fucking Saw theme. You want to play a game, then his fucking song starts. Jesus.
God damn. All right. Well, you know what? From one thing we didn't like to another thing that I know.
Yeah.
Oh, you love this, right? You love this segment.
Do y'all remember how I was like, hey, you know what? If you really want to, big up WrestleMania, you want to fully actually like take advantage of making WrestleMania bigger than last year, go with Jey Uso versus Cody. Because hey, that's fresh. That's new. There's something you really deep dive into when it comes to like promo work, character work, like their past, the present, their futures, like all that stuff. You did such a good job on Friday night, even like starting it, with like the Miz being the instigator, with Cody like looking on despondently or like kind of worried that, oh wait, maybe these people have a point that like this year's Jay's story, like it's all about Jay's story now. Like you had that, you legitimately had that in the palm of your hands. It's like you were the Buddha with freaking Wukong in the palm of your hands. Wukong can't escape your palm of the hands. Why? Because you're the freaking Buddha. So of course you had the story right there. Then you pissed it all away for Gunther versus Jay. And it's like, you know what? I get the story they're telling, because it's like, oh, this is the impossible wall that Jay could go over and all that stuff. It's like, I can see that. I get that. I understand that. And also, another caveat too, I am a fan of Jey Uso. There are multiple videos, multiple instances of me on screen yeeting. I have a goddamn yeet shirt on there. Just last night during the Super Bowl, me and my nephew were yeeting, and it was hilarious because it was pissing my sister off. So it's like, yes, I am a Jey Uso fan. I do not want to see Jey Uso versus Gunther ever again. You know why? Because Jay's obviously going to go over, okay? And I'm not mad at Jay going over. I think Jay does deserve a world title. I think he deserves a big win at WrestleMania, and he deserves that spotlight, that momentum.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to fuck over Gunther tremendously, because ever since, and like I saw something too on the cesspool that is Twitter, like somebody pointed out, it's just like, okay, Gunther's title reign started off very hot. His first defense was against Randy Orton, you know, and it's like the tweet originally said, oh, Gunther's world title reign peaked early, and it showed the clip of him and Orton, and I'm like, I don't know if I fully agree with that, because like him and Priest have good chemistry, and like the triple that they had with Finn and all that, but then it's like you look at that and it's like, oh wait, that triple threat with Finn and Priest, it back in December, that was the last time Gunther even defended his title on TV, wasn't it? Well, besides the Jay match, but like, even then, like, drop right there, just yawning. That's how I felt watching that match. You know, it was better than the other times they fought, yes, but it's like, I don't want to see that again. You know, and then for that to be the end of Gunther's reign, are we serious? Is that really going to be how you treat the world record IC title holder? When he's finally winning the big one, when he's finally holding that, you're going to really end his reign like that? By succumbing to somebody he's already beaten 3 other times? Somebody that he's going to be bullying for the next, like, few weeks? And, like, that's my other thing, too, is, like, what more do you do with the build here? Because it's like what do you add to make it feel like a WrestleMania match? What do you do? I can't think of many things that you can do other than what Gunther basically just said, making Jay's life a living hell by beating him up every week. But guess what? Here's the kicker, folks. We see that time and 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 time again. I get it. It's wrestling. They're gonna beat each other up. I get that. I understand that. Whatever. But like, you gotta have something more. Like, that's the whole thing with WWE. WWE is all about crafting a story, making that cinema and all that, you know, cinema, like how Roman tried to say it. But it's like, you gotta do something more with what you've got. And again, you had something tantalizing. You had something right there that could have really been something even more special, because like you could have told a story of like, oh, Cody, you know, getting not necessarily getting cocky, but starting to like kind of show cracks in his own self of being a champion, like what it means. You could have done a whole story about what it means to be a champion, to be the man on top of the WWE, to be the person to do all the interviews and be on the media calls and do all that stuff, like more than just the yeet person. You had that and chose not to go with that, because I guess we're gonna be doing Cody versus John, at Mania, which is face versus face, unless we're turning Cody heel, which I doubt we're doing that. I doubt we're turning John heel during his final run. Oh, well, maybe we're doing Punk versus Cody. It's like, okay, that's also kind of face versus face. Like, don't get me wrong, the promos will be fire and all that, but who are you going to cheer and who are you going to boo for that match? Huh, people? You want to throw that line against, Cody and John? Do the same thing with Cody and Punk. It's literally right there. So again, you're in this lose-lose situation where, like, no matter what you do, you're gonna end up doing something that's gonna piss a lot of people off. And I get it, you can't make everybody happy, but you gotta do something to at least make it mean something, make it feel worthwhile. And just like, and I said this, and sorry, I'll be done with my little rant here in just a second. It's like, Gunther versus Jay just does nothing for me because I know the outcome. I mean, it's one thing to know the outcome because last year, Mania, you knew the outcome. It was going to be Cody beating Reigns. Fine. But, like, the story going into it and, like, everything going towards it made it that much better. And right now, at this point, I don't see it. I don't see how you can add more to Gunther versus Jay. I just don't. I don't. Now tonight it was in isolation, tonight's little segment with Gunther ending the yeeting, fine. In isolation, that is fine. It's just, again, it does nothing for me. It does nothing for me.
He didn't want the Yeet concert encore. He was like, please, somebody end this. And once Gunther did, he was like, yes, thank you, Gunther.
I'm actually going to bring up something that JD mentioned. Shout out to JD if you're watching this. Highly doubt it, but whatever. But I happen to be somebody that does tune into his show. Usually after we're done with ours, I check out see what his thoughts are on and everything. And one of the things that he mentioned, to add on to what you said about Watkins wanting the Yeet concert to end, he said the first night when you did it on Raw, that's fine. You got a really human moment with Jay. When you had that whole moment there where he was choking up, everything felt natural, the overall presentation. The way they did it on Raw, perfectly fine, no issues. SmackDown, starting to push it a little bit because now it's becoming a repetitive thing. And then on Monday, you do it again. You can't keep doing that every single week because it's going to keep losing that feeling after a while.
Agreed.
So it's like, that's kind of how I felt. Like, obviously, I get it. But at the same time, I don't want it to get overdone because I want whatever they're doing with Jay to work out with him in the long run. I don't want to keep doing these Yeet concerts over and over and over again where the audiences get tired of it. If they want to do that at WrestleMania, they want to do that every so often or whatever, but especially at a WrestleMania, save it until then. But here's the thing when it comes to my overall thoughts between Jay and Gunther. I'm not upset with Jay's decision. My only issue with it is I kind of wish they spaced out the whole Jay and Gunther thing for a little bit and not did the match the following week before the Royal Rumble, because that's just way too soon to really even dive into something like that. But it's like you could have had them space that out a little bit. Jay could have ran another program with somebody else and you could have revisited that. Because I did know he did say that following week that he could beat him and everything. And obviously, us coming in, we thought it was going to be a Cena, Punk, Roman, whatever, Drew winning the Royal Rumble, heading to Mania, yada this, yada that. So I like how they pulled the trigger on Jay and everything. It was the right decision. Because WWE doesn't really push the needle as much as they should. I'm happy they are now when it comes to creating stars, because they were a little hesitant with Bryan. That was what the fans really had to push that. And then with Kofi, the fans had to really push that. So I'm kind of glad that they did this with Jay. But the only thing I really want out of Jay coming out of this, because I've seen Jay like this before when he was involved in the Bloodline, when he was a heel with Jimmy and they used to go after everybody, or even when Jay gets serious. I need to see that. I need to see a very serious Jay really heading in here, just a different character overall, not just the typical things that we see overall, we see all the time, because Jay's been serious. He's been serious. He doesn't crack jokes. He doesn't do the yeeting or anything. He's been very serious when he's trying to make a point, and he's pretty good on the mic too. Just like his brother on Fridays. His brother on Friday did great with that thing with Drew in LA.
He cooked that well.
Jay can tap into that at any time. That's what I need to see. I know what they're trying to do with Gunther. They're trying to really push it where they want to keep kicking him down everything, but I need to see them on both playing fields. I need to see Jay really digging it deep with Gunther too. That's what I really need to see.
For me to add real quick on the thoughts about the encore, I was telling Watkins as well during the sidecast that how would this be if they continue doing this every week and encores, and even after Yeet Mania happens, and what happens if we go back to France? France will kill it amazing, and that's what Watkins said. They will do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But for the encores, I think Jay has to put his foot there. He's like, hey guys, encore's amazing or no, but I got some shit to handle tonight. That's something I want to see. Because I understand he's in emotion. Like last week, Monday, like you said, perfectly. Friday, perfect. Because it's his first time on both shows and experiencing the win after Royal Rumble. But this time, I told Watkins, damn, it's going to happen again. And I'm glad it also got caught off. I'm a Jay fan, but I also don't want to get cold. That's you eat the same thing so much every Monday, the same thing. You know you're gonna get another encore. You know you're gonna get another encore every Monday. At some point, it's gonna get stale to some audience, or one of those cities that they go to will not be doing good yeet. So it's gonna fall flat. And I don't want that for Jay because I know he's gonna go do well. When it comes to what Job said as well, when it comes to his promo work, chat, you could go anywhere where he went. The Usos versus the New Day, they had a good promo. That literally has that as one of the most historical moments of Jay and Jimmy as going for them for the tag titles, have that type of legendary run. They have some great promos. Jay has had some great ones against Roman during the pandemic era. So we have had those. So I know Jay is going to bring that up, and hopefully we see that side coming this Monday, and I hope that's why Gunther attack him, and it's gonna help for the story when Jay comes out next week and his old series, and he's gonna have a Yeet concert as always, but then he's going to, I guys, no encore. I got some shit to handle tonight. I got some business to get done with. Hey Gunther, you know I'm your opponent now, so let's talk business. Or he didn't even have to invite him. Smoke him on the mic. I want to see that because Jay has done that before. Because hey, we are day one's Oos. We've been here.
I mean, he could easily do something as simple as this. He can even trash on his whole entire World Heavyweight Championship reign, because even when it comes to the audience, when it comes to Pacific matches, outside of that, it hasn't been as great as a lot of people anticipated. He could easily throw shots at that. There's a lot of things that he could really dig into if he really wants to cut it deep with Gunther. And it's like, even when he said, like, on Monday, like, the first time they did it, it's like, oh, besides that, like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to say. And it's like, he is like, oh, besides that, like, head down that direction, just get a little bit more serious, because I don't want the concert to constantly happen over and over again, because that's when you start fucking up what you're trying to create. And I don't want anything like that happening, because I'm all for creating new stars and everything, but you really need to, like, tread carefully when you do stuff like this.
Yeah, it's the law of diminishing returns. You do it too often, too much, and people just start getting tired of it. So, yeah. All right. So this women's tag team match, again, really great match.
Very good.
If anything, this was match of the night.
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
this is exactly what the women's tag team division needs to be. Like, and I hope it really got, like, shot something in the ass of a lot of the women's roster, and hopefully we get more matches like this and more times to shine for our female superstars and all that. Now, the thing, and also hopefully, Liv, I hope you're okay too after that nasty cut you got. Like, that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
So I do hope you're all right from that. But again, it's just the theme of the night. It's just like, what are we doing here? Because again, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They are apparently the #1 contenders for the tag team titles.
Yeah.
And you just have them lose on Monday Night Raw.
In a tag team match where they're
Why?
supposed to be going over for the tag team titles. Why?
Again,
what was the point?
Yeah, it's that lose-lose situation because, like, Dakota Kai and Iyo, they should go over because Dakota Kai's coming back, and Iyo kind of got screwed last week because of Liv. Well, I mean, because of Rhea, but Liv was the instigator and all that. But then it's just like, again, your #1 contenders kind of need to win because they're the flipping #1 contenders of the tag team titles. So it's like you're in this lose-lose situation, but then we continue to scratch our heads and wonder what's going on when later on Rhea confronts Iyo.
Oh
and is
my
like,
god,
"Hey,
that pissed me off.
I'm giving you a match on the Raw after Elimination Chamber." So Drop, you were almost close. You were almost close with that one. Because like when Rhea showed up, I'm like, oh, are we getting it added to Elimination Chamber? Oh, it's Raw after Elimination Chamber. Because, like, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that thought this immediately, because I'm pretty sure others did too. This is gonna, and hell, even tonight, we mentioned it, this is gonna probably lead into whatever the triple threat gonna be for the women's world title. And it's like, that, why is that the way and the route we're going down with Iyo? Like, she is over with the crowd. She is naturally over with the crowd. Reward her for that. You know, if you're not going to give her the Rumble win, fine, give her the Elimination Chamber. Oh, no, we can't do that because we need to have Bayley and Lyra face off against each other for God knows how long. What is this? What am I looking at? What was I looking at there?
I see Cody and Rock, but I don't get the reference of how this
Rock
relates.
Oh.
I don't see the full picture, but I know Job will explain. The one thing I would say is that this pisses me off is that more. Also, I'm shocked the Watkins didn't bring this up as well. Is that 89 score to an 86 tie with Raquel?
I choose to forget that because I can change that.
That is true. That is true. You could change that. But for the audience that don't know or haven't played the game or seen the update, is that our girl Iyo Sky went from an 89 and she's tied with Raquel. With Raquel and Io's being tied, it makes no sense to me. And Raquel using Liv Morgan as a fucking battering ram, which I don't even know how does that work when it looks like so choreographed. It was so horrible. That's one of my biggest con of that match. It's just it was so horrible and choreographed in that part. And when it comes to Drop, when he mentioned that we're might get Iyo Sky versus Rhea at Elimination Chamber, look, I'd rather see that than what we're getting on Monday. But also, I'd rather have not announced it right now when we haven't even heard with Charlotte Flair as well. Like, yes, we know, obviously, to us fans, bookers, or, fantasy booking, that Charlotte Flair is going to go to Tiffany. But with Charlotte Flair not announcing that yet, and you're announcing this now, it just feels so flat for me. It's like, wait, wow, like where's the setup in this? Are we literally gonna have this match for another setup to set up for WrestleMania? It just feels so lazy booking instead of actually, building the relationship, building the repertoire of these two characters. Instead, you're doing the favor because Rhea don't want to do the favor, but she did it for you anyway because she fucks with you. Like, what?
So there's a reason why I put Iyo Sky's Bumpy Road to WrestleMania in the title. Because everything was smooth sailing when we were originally thinking how the whole card was going to be structured. You got Iyo versus Liv last week. You could have had Iyo go over because Liv is currently focused on a tag team program. I get it. Star power. You got to add people in there. But again, she's focused on the tag titles. You got to have her go over. You've been teasing this thing with Rhea for quite some time now. My main issue with this, and by the way, great match, tells me again that Iyo Sky and Liv Morgan have great chemistry with one another. Match of the night, hands down.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say about that. Very great match of the night. But my whole issue with this whole entire EO booking right now is she's probably the second most over babyface, especially when it comes to people on Raw. I would probably have to say she's probably a little bit more over than Bianca right now in terms to presentation, how many people really want to see her. But it's like Rhea and Iyo are like the top two baby faces on Raw, and a lot of people have been pushing for this match. They really want to see it, everything along the lines of that. And it's also kind of weird to me. It's like you have somebody as athletic as Iyo Sky. Why is she not a part of Elimination Chamber? That's pretty much her playground. Like, why would you not insert her in that? Why wouldn't she be in a participant? Why wouldn't she be a participant in that? It's just really strange to me the way that everything is structured. But it's like you have her lose next week because Rhea got involved. She lost. We theory crafted her for a little bit. Maybe she's gonna get a last chance. Not happening anymore because they already have their 6 matches set for the qualifiers. And then you have this match this week where it's Iyo and Dakota. Glad to see you back against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in this match. They lose again. Like the guys are saying, they're supposed to be going for the tag titles. You have them losing. Heading to that match doesn't really make any sense because as the number one contender, you should be booked strong. Heading into title matches, that's just a 101 booking. And then you have Iyo go over, okay, she got a revenge in here. And then you have that moment with Iyo and Rhea backstage where Rhea's like, oh, I don't owe you anything or whatever, but we could have a match together after the Elimination Chamber. And that's why I posted that picture of Cody Rhodes and The Rock, because after Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble last year, you had that following SmackDown that was very controversial, where you had The Rock come out and you had Cody say, oh, I'm going to come for you, Roman, yada this, yada that, but not at WrestleMania. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, guys, we know you really want this match, but you're getting it after Chamber. And I'm not against seeing those two in the ring because they work very well together. I've seen them put on a clinic in NXT Black and Gold. They work very well together. She's powerhouse. She's all over the place. Usually types of people like that work very well. I just do not like the whole booking with her. It's just very weird. She's like one of your biggest stars and she's like getting kicked to the curb. It's almost making me think that a couple months ago she probably should have been the IC title champion at this.
Agree.
Because at least there would have been more leverage with that. But now I think it's going to be one of those things where Bianca wins the Chamber, because I'm pretty much confident that that's going to happen. Outside of the rumor, that's the only one that really makes sense to win the Chamber, because you're probably going to have Liv and Alexa Bliss start some sort of program heading into WrestleMania there. But Bianca is my prediction to win the Chamber. But it's now making me think they're going to do this booking where it's like, okay, you get the title match, it might end in a DQ, something might happen, etc. So on. Oh, what am I going to do with Iyo heading into WrestleMania? What's going to really make sense? I have a feeling they're going to do some triple threat with the three of them. And my only issue with that is, again, why do we need to really get there? But also now you have this other rumor triple threat with Seth, Roman, and Punk. It's like, you don't need that many triple threats at fucking WrestleMania. You don't even need that triple threat. They made it pretty apparent it was about Seth and Roman on that little package on SmackDown. So why are you throwing Punk in there? Like, it's just like the booking everywhere is just all over the place. It's like a simple route you could easily go down and avoid all of this. Okay, do Rhea and Iyo at WrestleMania. Have Bianca focus on her entire situation with her titles. And then whenever Jade comes back, you could ignite that again and revisit that. That's the only thing that's like really holding me against it, is that she still has that going. And also, Bianca and Rhea, you can't blow off a month build with that. That's a big match. That's a very big match. That's something they've been prolonging forever. I still remember that one time where they both had titles in the ring and they were talking with one another. That's a big match. Yeah. A month build for that?
I believe they had their Raw SmackDown titles at the time, right?
Yeah, that's why it's telling me it's going to turn into some triple threat, and it shouldn't, because that one-on-one should be split. That's my other issue with triple threats, is that kind of devalues when you actually get the one-on-one, because you're already seen a little bit in the ring. And I could just be talking on my ass, but there's a good possibility that might be the direction they're heading down, where it's like a little consolation prize, where it's like, okay, hero, there you go.
Drop, you are hitting on the nose, because that's how I feel as well. Like, we all feel the same, like us seeing as panelists and, you know, fans. You know, if you guys are watching this clip or seeing us online or seeing this podcast, let us know how you feel, because one thing I agree with what you guys said. Liv Morgan, Raquel, they should get this win because they are the number one contender for the tag team titles. But then, why do they have to verse Dakota Kai and Iyo Sky? Why couldn't it go, I guess, you know, the two members of PFC? Why couldn't it go give them time? Maybe if we gave Alba Fire and Asla Dawn, if they were still here, we could have used them. We have tag team people.
Alba Fire's still there.
Yeah, that's the thing. You could have easily done her. You could easily done her and Liv.
Exactly. We had tag team people in these type of divisions but not being used. But instead, we're combining single competitors into tag team partners that are not even meant to be tag team. And like, we also have Katana Chance, and I forgot her other name. We're not having seen them as a tag team partner. We only see them in backstages or talking to Nick Aldis. Where the fuck are they? How are they going to be used? But instead, we have 4 single competitors players versing each other in a tag team. Where Raquel, maybe if you give her a chance, Raquel could have gone to... What's up?
I was gonna say, Liv and Raquel do have a past with each other, so it's not like they were just thrown together. They
do have a past, but I'm saying that, like, Liv,
past, yeah.
But like, Liv could have gone back for the war title. Raquel, maybe she could also go for the IC title. Give her something other than being insecurity.
We would have gotten Liv and Rhea again, like.
But it's at least something
in the tag team.
Which is true, but it's something that I'm giving other opportunities or the chances that we could have gotten that is not just the same thing, rinse and repeat of what we already have gotten. Like, Liv is not going to win the chambers. That's what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. But at least put her in there still, sure. But when it comes to Raquel, to me, her security character, to me, is bogus. To me, it falls flat. I'm not interested. I even spoke about in the sidecast, this whole security shit still feels flat for me. And when it comes to the tag titles, like, we have other superstars that are not being used, and we have a 2.5-hour show on Netflix, and we're seeing the same people in the past couple months that we have seen in the past year.
AJ Styles came back.
Yeah.
I mean, he came back. He cut a promo that was very babyface, like, "Hey, I'm back. I almost thought my career was ending." Blah blah blah. So thank you for at least like the good half of you coming back. Because then out comes Dominic Mysterio being like, "Oh, fudge you, old man," and I don't know, like AJ trying to clap back. It kind of fell flat. I don't know if he was just like trying to go off his head or off script with it, or I don't know. It did not work. But I mean, we're getting a match with him and Dom next week, so I think as a first match back for AJ, it's fine because, again, you know, there might be a little bit of ring rust in there because, you know, anytime you're coming back from an injury, there's going to be a little bit of give and pull and all that. So having somebody like Dom in the ring, it's fine because the company does trust Dom for matches and moments like this. But I mean, hopefully it's just a one and done kind of thing so he can move on to Braun Breaker, which seems like where we're going for WrestleMania. But I'm just glad AJ's back.
I would say the only 2 things that was cool about this promo was AJ Styles. He was back. He told us that this injury that he had was previous, that he could have not returned. I don't know if that's more like the babyface type of promo, or if that's just to make us actually sense that, damn, he was actually hurt. That's why he was out for a couple months. Who knows? 2, his line, it was short, but it was the way AJ Styles presented it, the way he said that, Dom, you will always be Rey Mysterio's punk ass kid. And I just love that line. It was straightforward, it was rude, and it just felt genuine. And I love that from AJ in that aspect. And him versus Dom, the one thing I like about that is because literally AJ Styles said it. Dom, you put the work. You've been doing what you got to do. That's the one credit I give AJ Styles to give it to Dom. Good. And I agree with what Watkins said. And AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker. It sucks every time I say this line. I think I'm right back, but just feed me more in that aspect when it comes to Braun Breaker versus AJ Styles. That stare off, even though it was so teased, I want it. Feed it to me.
Yeah, I'm just glad AJ's back. I feel like him being on Raw is good for him because he did everything he could in SmackDown. I mean, that's the show he's known to be at. I mean, that he pretty much said that's the house that AJ Styles built. But I like him being at Raw. It's a fresh playing field. He could have programs with Braun Breaker. He could have programs with Gunther. He could have programs with Seth Rollins again, Finn Balor, whatever the case may be. Obviously, people coming to the company soon. You never know who's going to appear after Mania. You never know who's going to be getting called up soon. So there's a bright future for AJ Styles here. So him being here, another main event talent on Raw, is always a plus for me. I mean, I've always been a fan of AJ Styles. 2016, I really wish I can go back in that era because that was great. Like that year where he came in the Royal Rumble, and then everything took off from there, and he became the WWE Championship and Backlash of that year when he defeated Dean Ambrose, and he had a great reign as champion. And that match he had with Cena really took him off. That was great. John Cena and him, they have great chemistry for one another. So AJ Styles, like I said, always a plus. And the thing with Dom, I actually was a little unexpected because, like I told you guys off air, I thought it was going to be Braun. Braun was talking a lot of shit. Where am I at? I'm not on TV. I'm not really doing anything. Like, Adam Pearce, do something with me. I thought he was going to come out, interrupt him, start a program of him, whatever.
He should.
We got a tease of it, so obviously we know that's the direction, and that's what they were alluding to last week. But, I guess with Dom, get AJ Styles moving in the ring a little bit. Nothing too crazy with him. Obviously, I'm not expecting Dom to go over next week. I do feel like the program with Dom is probably going to be him and Finn at Mania. That seems something that they're pushing. Do I want Finn to be somewhere like that? No, but really, where else is he really going to go? And I would obviously use that as a way to really push off Finn Balor, bringing him back to where he is, because he just feels so weird where he's at right now, because I know he's not like that. I know where he could truly be. So whatever with that match next week, it's fine. And I mean, if that is indeed the program for Mania, I mean, sign me up. That's a great match. AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker. I mean, I have nothing against that.
I'm here for it as well.
Yeah, I don't either. So I don't know how to transition to this. So hey, the World Tag Team Title match we had between the War Raiders and American Made, again,
great
a good match. You know what, sitting on it more, I'm fine with the ending. We can prolong it just a little bit longer. Maybe it'll cut into something where, I mean, dare I say, all of American Made actually win titles before Chad Gable comes back. That'd actually be something. That'd be cool. That'd be neat. But I mean, that would also mean Lyra Valkyria would have to lose, and I don't want that. But yeah, I mean, the match was fine. It was one of those matches where, like, and I've said this before about some matches too, it felt like they were holding back a lot.
Yeah.
For that next match.
Yeah.
So yeah, when the DQ happened, at first I was just like, oh, come on, man, why are we getting a DQ finish? But like, sitting on it now, you know what? Fine. I am all for like a program with these two teams, because again, both teams are really good.
Yeah, I like the superplex. I like the superplex.
Yeah, dude, when Julius just jumped up there with ease, man, that man is a beast. He's a physical monster.
Yeah, the superplex moonsault combo, that was really nice. Like, they can really go in the ring. And that's what I'm saying. If you really want us to take this team like seriously, and I really want to, because they should be pushed this way because they're great wrestlers, I would definitely have them potentially. I don't think they will, but I mean, I would have no issues at all if they end up holding gold sometime this year as like tag team champions, because they
Oh, I
definitely
wouldn't
deserve
either.
it. Really push them to the next level. Hopefully something with Gable. We don't know. Gable's, I guess, currently on a mission right now. I'm not listening to what was reported by Brian Alvarez, because him and don't even get me started on that. They're like hit it.
Oh, Meltsy boy.
Yeah, like it's hit or miss when it comes to a lot of the reports. But it's like
Yeah.
yes, really looking forward to seeing like how things are going to progress with this. I'm okay with the ending after thinking about it for a little bit, because they definitely didn't want to show off all of their tricks in this match, so, which is okay, but definitely based on what we saw so far. I mean, I was expecting a little bit more out of it. Not in a bad way, but I was
It made me want more, which
basically
is what you want in a program like this. But I am curious because I didn't even see this thing about Brian Alvarez. Like, what did they say? I didn't see anything about it.
Oh, the thing with Brian Alvarez.
Yeah.
So apparently there was a report that came out where it mentioned something about Gable going to AAA to like have that whole quest of like how to work with luchadors and everything. But a lot of people don't know how to take it, because no disrespect to them,
Right.
but a lot of the reports have been hit or miss when it comes to a lot of the things that they've been reporting. So we don't know if it's legitimate or not.
Okay.
But
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that idea.
oh no, definitely not. That'd be pretty crazy.
I agree. Considering the source, yeah. But what about you? What about you, Vash? How do you feel about this lovely tag team match?
When it comes to the tag team chat, not saying that I don't care about it, but I didn't care about it. That's honestly it. Because
Wow.
look, when it comes to the
The
Creed
truth
brothers,
come out.
look, when it comes to the Creed brothers, they're awesome. They was good at this match. This match was great tag team representation, but I knew the Creed brothers was not gonna win. I knew the Creed brother was somehow gonna get a pin. They didn't. DQ, not bad. Ivy now was there on the side of the ring. Of course, she's gonna distract, and she's falling flat to me because in the background she was trying to start shit with Lyra Valkyria, and then when Maxine Dupree, hey. Girl, you're beautiful. Nice wardrobe is what it is. You got some great choices. And when it comes to Ivy now, her being on the side of the ring with the Creed brothers, it was obvious that she was going to distract, and that's what they did. The DQ happened, and I know we're gonna get around too, because what Watkins said is that they felt like holding him back. The War Raiders. We also got a beautiful vignette package. That's what I'll call it. The package was amazing. It showed the history of the War Raiders and what they've gone through, the possibility of them not being here tonight because of what they've been through. But then we see the backstory or little small video package as well from the Creed brothers for this match. Sucks it wasn't built up more, but maybe we might get another round 2 for Elimination Chamber. Who knows? That's something I'd like to see. A little Elimination Chamber match between both of them would be nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of in its beginning stages of it, which is fine. Again, I think we all kind of do want to see a rematch between the two teams, but let's watch some noggin. Oh yes, I would love to watch some noggin right now. And I mean, do I even? We spoke about Finn earlier. We had mentioned Seth earlier. We had this interview with Seth with Jackie Redmond. It was really just to hype up their match next week. Which, I mean,
I honestly forgot about it. To be honest, I forgot about it
really?
until they brought it up, because it was like, wait a minute, there's one more, and then once Seth came on, I was like, oh yeah, Seth and Finn. And look, chat, it shows you that Finn has become unforgettable, because Vash does have a good hard drive. Like he does remember shit a lot, but Finn, I totally forgot, because you didn't even show up. Even Dom brought it in the backstage later. Finn didn't even show up with AJ with them on the ring to go against them. It was Dom and Carlitos by himself. Even AJ brought that up, like, yo, you by yourself. Where's Damien? Where's Rhea? Where's Finn? Finn wasn't here. Finn said, yo, fuck them. I'm gonna go and mess up this promo with Seth. Finn could have literally.
I don't blame you.
Finn literally could have still been there, gone around the whole stadium or arena, or gone from the arena down there and gone up the stairs. Still could have interrupted Seth. He could have still interrupted Seth. He like, oh, I heard his song. I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna go up the ramp. So to me, like, Seth was a good promo. He said like, hey, I don't like to talk about CM Punk, John Cena. Like, how you gonna be here? But it makes sense because you'll put your time for the title. You'll put the time for the company. So he gave his flowers. Like the same thing CM Punk said much later that night. But Seth is going to win. Because why? Because Finn has no direction. Finn has no direction. So, of course, he's not going to go to WrestleMania. We know he's going to be having a good match with Seth. But you have no feud as well with John Cena, Drew McIntyre, all these other people. So, Finn, I'm sorry, but you're going to lose. And it's going to go to Seth. Freaking violence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was fine. It was just a segment. But, I mean...
Yes, Moose.
Look,
yes, we need Finn to get booked better. We all agree, Moose.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we come on this show, and we're going to be honest about things. We try not to be haters. We try not to be, oh, they should probably do this, they should do that. And, like, we try our best not to be like that. We like to, give our thoughts and opinions on anything that might be coming up and all that. And it's just when you get shows like this and you're left in this weird bubble of where do we go from here, but not in like the curious way of like, oh, well, what can we do? There's so many options and all that. You're left in a bubble of like, well, where are we going with this? Because like we don't know now, and it's not in the curious way. It's in the way of like we're just so confused about why things are going the way they are, and maybe reports can come out that, oh, well, this happened and that happened. That's cool and all, but it's like right now, as consumers, and I don't mean to speak for the other guys here, but I know for myself as a consumer, I'm just not enjoying what I'm getting right now. I'm legitimately not. I don't know. This build for this WrestleMania so far has been very lackluster, and that's saying it nicely. I
agree.
We think it's going to go one way, and it's one thing to have a pivot, but it's like the pivots are just. It leaves you wondering, well, what are we doing? Are we just wasting our time with some people? Like, because that's the thing. Like, you have people like Iyo who is over with the crowd naturally, and we're not giving her like a good spotlight for all of that. Like we're just gonna feed Charlotte to somebody. Charlotte, who is that's besides. I don't know. I'm just sitting here like I don't even feel excited for WrestleMania right now. Like, which sucks because like WrestleMania, we're gonna have Jey Uso finally win a world title. I should be excited for that, but I'm not. We have John Cena's last WrestleMania. And currently, if he's not facing Cody, who does he face? Logan fucking Paul? Oh, great. That's going to be an awesome WrestleMania match for John.
If I'm being 100% honest with you,
talk to us.
I would honestly take that at this point, only because Cena really needs to start gaining wins to really head down that direction to get that 17. And at least with Punk, he's been consistent on TV. He's been winning matches. He already teased something with Cody last year. He teased it again. They can pull things from AEW. They can pull things from when they train together. So there's a lot of rich story here. With Cena, what is there really with a story between the both of them? Oh, is it going to be another situation where it's like, you're now the face of the company, just like how I was, yada this, yada that. Gotta prep talk him, or it's like, I know the frustration with that title, kind of like how Punk was saying. I know how it feels, but I was able to overcome it. So are they going to use this as a way of like, Cody, understanding the position he's in with the title. It's like, I don't know if I can really get hooked if a program between Cena and Cody, especially this early, Cena and Cody.
Yeah.
It just like the
Maybe
whole
around SummerSlam I could. Yeah.
that's what I was thinking, because the bigger story here right now is getting those wins under his belt to put him into a championship match. I feel like losing the Rumble, I still agree Jay was the right decision for that, but it's like, if Cena won that Rumble, I would have had an issue with it, and even with Cena winning the Chamber, I have an issue with it, because you're just using another lottery ticket that you happen to find just to get to Mania for a match that he's not going to win. And I don't know how you can go from that amazing main event to Cena and Cody. Sure, the promos are going to be great. They're both great mic workers, and the Rhodes family is also known to be very good on the mic. Dusty's great. Dustin's great. Cody's great. I know they can bring the game, but I don't know if I can really sink my teeth into it. It just seems way too predictable. And I just feel like there's just so much you could do with him and Punk. That's something I could see at a Mania. You could make a lot of money off of that, like a fuckload of money off of that. And you don't need to keep doing all these triple threats. That's why I mentioned earlier, if we potentially get a Rhea, Bianca, and Iyo, then a Seth, Punk, and Roman, it's like, why we need all of this? You're just throwing people in there just to get them a spot on the card. You're smarter than this. Seth, Roman. Obviously, it's not going to be Rhea and Iyo anymore, so more than likely could be a triple threat. But you don't need to be doing like this random what does that mean? People say GM mode shit.
Oh yeah.
That's the only reason why I would take the win with Logan. Like, I get where you're coming from, and it does make sense for his last Mania, but I would only be okay with it if it were to happen, because we still don't know. But I would only be okay with it just to build that whole entire win streak again.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that really wants Cena to rip him to shreds.
Oh hell yeah! And see, that's the thing. It's just like, I get that reasoning and all that. It's just like, it's one of those things. It's like you look at it on paper, and it's like, oh, John Cena's last WrestleMania match was against Logan Paul. It's like,
I get that.
Was that it? Yeah. So it's like, there's different avenues with it and all that. It's just, I think at the end of the day, with me, it's just, if you're going down these routes, then I beg and I plead with you, do what you can. Please turn me around on it. Please.
Yes.
Like, I would much rather be happy than right. I would love to be happy, and right now I'm not happy. So please do your best, do your match to like turn me around on WrestleMania this year. But sorry, Vash, I cut you off again tonight. But
no, it's all right. Look, we're all in a passionate mood of anger and rage. And like I said, John Cena, I agree with John Cena needs to build up some wins. Like, I believe it was CM Punk that said it. He said, John Cena, you have earned your right. You've been part of the company. You could earn your slot. But right now, you're falling flat on the promo work. You can't even back yourself up or even take some wins on a regular Monday Night Raw to build your etiquette, to build your stock, and you're falling flat. Where when in Elimination Chamber, have you been training on your movie sets? Do they have a ring around where you are and train every weekend? Because just saying, we're ready on the 11th of the month of February. That means we have 19 days. No, sorry. I have 17 days until the 28th. And then that weekend is March 1st. And we have Elimination Chamber in Toronto.
Yeah, that's
so, John Cena, have you been training? Because we're literally less than 3 weeks away for you to do what you got to do. And I don't think you're ready. And I love you. I grew up with you. You are my superstar. You like hustle, loyalty, respect. That's literally my motto in life and as a content creator. So you're telling me that you can just come in and win? No, you're not. I told myself, and I believe I told the guys off air or in Grappling of the Week, that John Cena will win his 17th title at SummerSlam. That's when I think,
especially with the 2 nights thing.
That is a 2 nights thing as well. So that's why I believe, and it's also here in New York. So if it happens then, I'm a happy little camper because I will be there. This is right here in New York, MetLife Stadium. So New York, New Jersey. For those that live in New Jersey, don't come at me. I'm sorry, I don't count y'all.
You
So when it comes to MetLife, I see that shit happening. So John Cena, I don't see you winning. Logan Paul, I don't see that as exciting. But I guess if I want to see a match, I guess sure.
Drew, no, it's, actually you can take what I said, but replace Logan with Drew. There you go.
John Cena versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre?
Yeah. Drew's been advocating for it. He's been advocating for it. He's
go
really
for it. If Drew needs something, Drew's not gonna have probably a title. He's not in the world title picture. He already had a match with Punk. He already had a match with Seth. He already had a match with Roman. That's true. He hasn't had a match with John. I'm okay with that. I'm with that.
And he's also even spoke about that whole rumor of him and Priest, how he feels like he deserves a bigger match than that, which I do agree. Especially coming off of the year that he had last year that really built his character to another level. So I would be okay with that if they head down that direction.
I'm better with that. I'm better with Johnson versus Drew than what you said earlier with Logan Paul. Because that one don't excite me. Like, yeah, sure, I'll take the win. I would love to see John Cena throw him for the FU and everything. We're all going to see that in Elimination Chamber as well. Yeah. So, like, I'd rather see Drew. Oh, that'd be a good spot. John Cena and Drew could start something there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because Drew likes crushing people's dreams. There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right perfect. Right there. That could be the build-up.
Including his own. Yep. Including his own. Yep. But Vash, go ahead and just hit the plugs. Hit the plugs before I hit this outro. Before I
check my. You heard our on Raw thoughts. You heard our mixed thoughts. This might have been the shortest Weebs of the Ring show since last year. I don't remember when was our last short show. But I want to tell you guys, because as much as I have a good memory, what I do have a good memory, if it's our plugs, if you see our handles down below on the lower third where we're streaming, and you see AniMa W3 Studio down below, Legendary Vash, Drop This Box, and Walkers MW, Drop This Box and Walkers MW, they have their own YouTube channels. They have their own content. Go check that out. They upload weekly. Also, check out the hashtag and the handle of Weebs of the Ring, where we're on TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter/X, and IG. We're starting by next week. MPLEs, whatever. Me and Watkins do sidecasts. We're able to go live on Twitch.tv/AniMa W3 Studio and the Weebs of the Ring IG and the Twitter/X. So we'll be live on 3 spots. Let's see how that goes. Would it be a success or would it be a crash and burn? We will find out next week. Other than that, we appreciate you for watching. Hopefully you guys agree with us or don't. Let us know in the comment section below if you like us or not.
Yes, please let us know in the comments. I would love to hear from people.
We appreciate you, Moose.
How y'all feel.
That's how you know you're a fan, because when you literally said that line.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, stunt grannies were hard during this podcast episode. I'm sorry. I apologize for you stunt grannies, but you guys got in the freaking way of our train wreck of a Raw we had tonight. I won't say train wreck, but still, it's just, whatever. But anyways,
I had a better time doing the coverage of tonight than watching Raw.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it all. Oh, man. But, as always, we're going to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed or hated what we had to say, again, comment sections right down there. Again, we're on all social media platforms as Weebs of the Ring, and use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to, join in on the conversation before, during, or after any of these shows. And of course, feedback's always appreciated, as we are nothing without you lovely people tuning in. Weebs of the Ring is presented by AniMa W3 Studio. Thanks as always to our production team for all the hard work that they put off and everything that we do to make this show even better. So thank you once again. And tonight, stunt grannies were harmed during the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, everybody. Cheers, and we will see you on Thursday for Grappling with the Week.
All right, see you guys.